Seven Homes Family Foster Care Program has one mission: to reach out to youth in need of love, safety, and stability.
We are all about foster care. That's why Seven Homes started, because we saw that kids in the system were staying years in foster care, and we wanted to create an agency that helped them get out of foster care faster.
It is really, I think, important for Seven Homes to just sort of challenge those stereotypes of what foster children are like and what a typical foster or adoptive family has to look like.
That's Ken Maxwell and Allie Speckhart with Seven Homes Family Foster Care Program. Learn more about our WBFJ Ministry of the Month, Sunday at 5 on WBFJ. Sunday at 5 on your family station, WBFJ. I'm Vern. Our WBFJ Ministry of the Month for April. I love the feel of this organization, and I love their mission. It's called Seven Homes. It's a family foster care program and so much more. We're going to unpack what Seven Homes does. You can find out more about the organization, how you can get plugged in, even a special event coming up on April 25th. That's a Saturday away. A lot of information on our website, WBFJ.fm. We have Ken Maxwell, Executive Director of Seven Homes, and Allie Speckhart, Director of Marketing, and so much more with that special event coming up. Thanks, guys, for coming in and sharing with us. Tell us a little bit about Seven Homes.
Well, take you back to January 29th, 1995, when we started our agency. It was a group of us. A lot of us came out of residential treatment homes in the community, and we just saw a need for an agency that would do things a little differently, was more child-focused, tried to see the world through the children's eyes and what foster care and adoption looked like in their eyes, and then how could we serve them through our agency and meet their needs. From that, 20 years later, we're here today. It's interesting, when we met in January of 95, we didn't have a name for the agency. We didn't have a logo. We didn't have a mission statement. We just were a bunch of social workers getting together, knowing that something needed to be done that was different. And I talk a lot about Seven Homes and how did we get our name Seven Homes. And actually, when we look back at it, I think Seven Homes chose us. Seven Homes is biblically based, the power of number seven throughout the Bible. Our mission statement talks about the whole child, serving the needs of the whole child. Well, seven, wholeness, completeness.
I know you mentioned two different things, adoption and foster care. Give us kind of a quick definition, because they're a little different.
Absolutely. They're very different. All of our kids, Seven Homes only works with foster care. When I say adoption, we're not an adoption agency that focuses on international adoption. We're not a foster agency that focuses on infant or private adoptions. We are all about foster care. And so our first focus is on the temporary nature of foster care. That's why Seven Homes started, because we saw that kids in the system were staying years in foster care, and we wanted to create an agency that helped them get out of foster care faster. Foster care is meant to be temporary. It's meant to help a child reunite with their family, if at all possible. And so that's what we were focusing on, helping that child reunite with their family. And then if for whatever reason that reunification could not happen, then we looked at, permanency for this child, finding a forever family for this child was the next step. And so as we were providing foster care services, we realized there was a need for us to become an adoption agency as well, to, again, limit the amount of time the child spends what we call the system. We became an adoption agency for that.
We're talking about length of time. What's an average length of time for a child in foster care? Is there an average?
I will tell you, I'm an adopted parent of 3, and my first son that I adopted, he came in foster care when he was 5, and I finally got to adopt him right before his 17th birthday. That's how long he had spent in foster care before
Wow.
I was able to adopt him. I would say average time right now for an adoptive kid is probably 2 years. There are some federal mandates that you're trying to find permanency for these children within a year. And permanency means either go home to your birth parent or try to find a forever family. But I would say typically 2 years if they're not able to reunite to adoption. 2 years is probably the average that they're in the system.
Wow. We're talking with Ken Maxwell and Allie Speckhart with 7 Homes Family Foster Care Program, our WBFJ Ministry of the Month for April. Great website, lots of information on our website about 7 Homes. Look for the little logo there. You'll be able to see it right on our newly improved website at WBFJ.FM. I love this. You guys reach across North Carolina, but really the nation as well. This is not just something you think big umbrella, but you also help locally and get kids and families connected and for the foster as well.
If you truly believe, and we believe there's a family for every child, then you have to open your mind a little bit and think, well, that family doesn't necessarily have to be in North Carolina. And I would hate for a North Carolina child to grow up in the foster care system, turn 18, and there's a family in Virginia or a family in Texas that's perfect for them, but we just couldn't make that connection. And so, yes, we work with North Carolina children, but we look everywhere if the child is up for adoption to try to find an adoptive family for that child. We just featured a child on our Forever Family program, and the very next day we got a call from a family in San Antonio, Texas, says, I'm interested. And this is a 15-year-old girl. And so to be able to, if we could make that connection, would be absolutely wonderful, because she's 2.5 years away from turning 18 and maybe not having a family. And so that's part of our mission, is to break down those state borders. And that's harder than I thought it was going to be.
Wow. And you talk about Forever Families. That's actually, we see the segment on Fox 8, right?
Correct. Every Tuesday night and every Wednesday morning in the 5 o'clock, Tuesday night in the 5 o'clock newscast, and Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock, we feature a child in the state that is up for adoption but does not have a family selected for them. And so we're recruiting families for that child. Watch those segments. You'll be surprised. The kids that we present there. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about kids in the foster care system, and that's one of the things we're trying to dispel. We'll also show you a lot of success stories in the Forever Family program. We'll show you how to become a foster parent. We'll do some programming that just engages you and gets you thinking outside the what the people's interpretation of foster care is in North Carolina.
We're talking with Ken and Allie with 7 Homes Family Foster Care Program, our WBFJ Ministry of the Month for April. Lots of details about this organization on our website, WBFJ.FM. I know you just touched on it, talking about the typical child in foster care. What does that child look like? Describe that child, or can we?
I don't think you can. I don't think there's a typical child. They range from infant up to 21 years of age. They're all across the spectrum of, and they're individual kids, they're siblings. I don't think there is a typical kid or a average kid. That's one of the things. Every one of these children is unique to themselves, and I think trying to peg a typical, we really missed the mark. That they're individuals. They're each unique.
And there are
So-
situations that they've come out of, I guess, as unique as well.
There's situations that they come out of are unique for them.
Mhm.
I always like to say every child experiences the neglect or the abuse or whatever that they're coming out of differently, so it affects them differently. Some kids are so resilient it just rolls off their back and they just march forward. Other kids, it impacts them a little bit more difficult for them to overcome what has happened to them. But they all typically come in the system for the same reason, some sort of dependency or neglect, or some form of abuse. You don't have kids. These are not kids that are coming in because they did something, because of their actions. These are kids that come in the system because something was done to them or some situation they weren't protected and their family life was out of control.
To
Wow.
piggyback off of what
Yeah.
Ken just said, I'm relatively new to Seven Homes and have been really blessed in getting to experience 2 Forever Family filmings so far this year. And when you see these kids at the zoo and at the pottery place and at the cooking studio, and you see them doing these activities, you see them on Fox 8, and you're there with them, they're just kids. And I think that a lot of people, even me prior to coming on board with Seven Homes, you have this idea in mind of what a foster child is like, and that you could even just pick them out of a crowd. But these are kids, and they want to have fun. And when you ask them what their perfect forever family is like, it's a loving family who will play with them and take them to the movies and the park, and who has a dog. And, it's just so that people who are interested in foster care or adoption, so that they know these children are just looking for a loving home. And it doesn't have to be this specific vision of a family. It could be a single parent home or a 2-parent home, but it doesn't have to fit a specific mold. And they're kids who deserve a chance, and they deserve permanency, like Ken said earlier. But it is really, I think, important for Seven Homes to just sort of challenge those stereotypes of what foster children are like and what a typical foster or adoptive family has to look like.
Recruiting families both to foster and or adopt is very difficult. We've been blessed that the response to our Forever Family program has been tremendous. Our growth over the last 3 years is astonishing. But even with the growth that we've had, there are still kids referred to us that we cannot take because we do not have a family. There are still kids that we get that are up for adoption, but they don't fit the families that we have. And so there's always this need for foster parents. There's always this need for adoptive parents. Last year in the United States, total, there were 85,000 adoptions. 65% of those adoptions came from the foster care system. So the vast majority across this nation of adoptions are actually coming out of the foster care system. A lot of folks think that they're international adoptions or they're private infant adoptions, and those are very small segments when you compare that most of the adoptions now are happening out of the foster care system. Typically, the state of North Carolina, about 2,100 kids are adopted a year in North Carolina. There are roughly right now between 10 and 11,000 kids in foster care in North Carolina. That's 10 to 11,000 kids. 40 to 45% of those are going to need an adoptive family. And so you look at those numbers, that's a lot of children out there. We're fortunate that I think we have a strong adoption program in North Carolina, but there are still kids that turn 18, age out of the system, that do not have a family. And can you imagine being 18 and not have a family, and you're out there trying to make it on your own? And that creates a lot of issues for them. Recent surveys and studies of kids that age out of the system, they say, they report that being scared and a feeling of loneliness are the two emotions that dominate them once they leave the system at 18 and don't have a family, don't have the support, that they need. So our goal is to try to not have any more kids turn 18 and age out, but have them all adopted if they can't go back home.
I'm talking with Ken Maxwell and Allie Speckhard with 7 Homes Family Foster Care Program, our WBFJ Ministry of the Month for April. Guys, when we come back, let's talk about this special event coming up on Saturday, April 25th. And it has a Wizard of Oz theme, and it's all about awareness and a little fundraising. Back in a moment. This is Sunday at 5 on your family station, WBFJ.
Little hands, shoeless feet, lonely eyes looking back at me. Will we leave behind the innocent to grieve? On their own, on the run, when their lives have only begun. These could be our daughters and our sons. And just like a drum, I can hear their hearts beating. I know my God won't let them be defeated. Every child has a dream to belong and be loved. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these, when we love the least of these. Break our hearts once again. Help us to remember when we were only children hoping for a friend. Won't you look around? These are the lives that the world has forgotten, waiting for doors of our hearts and our homes to open. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these, when we love the least of these. If not us, who will be like Jesus to the least of these? If not us, tell me who will be like Jesus to the least of these. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. We will love the least of these. 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 We will love the least of these.
That's Audio Adrenaline and Kings and Queens on your family station, WBFJ. I'm Vern Hill. More details about the God's Not Dead We Believe tour with Audio Adrenaline, Finding Favor, and Newsboys coming to the White Oak Amphitheater in Greensboro May 9th. Details, online, WBFJ.FM. We're talking with Ken Maxwell and Allie Speckhart with 7 Homes, our WBFJ Ministry of the Month for April. They do so much, but they're reaching across North Carolina and the nation, really, to help children that are victims of neglect, abuse, abandonment, various things, of course, through the foster care system, maybe onward to adoption if the foster care system, if they can't get them back into their established families already. Really just finding loving homes for kids. Bottom line, 7 Homes, that's what they're all about. You get lots of information on our website, WBFJ.FM. I love your mission to reach out to youth in need of love, safety, and stability. They're in need of that. Not a want. This is a need, isn't it?
It is a need. Yes. It's when we met in January of 95, we didn't have a name for the agency. We didn't have a logo. We didn't have a mission statement. We just were a bunch of social workers getting together, knowing that something needed to be done that was different. And I talk a lot about 7 Homes and how did we get our name 7 Homes. And actually, when we look back at it, I think 7 Homes chose us. 7 Homes is biblically based. The power of number 7 throughout the Bible. Our mission statement talks about the whole child, serving the needs of the whole child. Well, 7, wholeness, completeness. The theme of 7, it just hit us one day. It has to be 7 Homes, and from that mission statement, our focus is kids. Our focus is what kids need. If there's an agency out there that focuses on when they take a kid, when 7 Homes takes a kid, that's our kid. And we're going to treat that child as our child. And if that child needs something, we're going to make sure that child gets something. So that's part of that mission statement, meet their needs.
I'm talking about meeting the needs. You need a few funds along the way. You got a special event coming up April 25th, and it's exciting, just the name alone, celebrating 20 years. But there's no place like 7 Homes.
There's definitely going to be a theme at our event.
Good.
So there's no place like 7 Homes. It's at Canterbury School in Greensboro this Saturday, April 25th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it was really a no-brainer. We needed a theme for the event, and who doesn't love the Wizard of Oz? But we just thought that, there's no place like home was a great start. But for a lot of our children, there's no place like home can mean a lot of different things. And so we wanted it to really emphasize that this is the 20th anniversary of 7 Homes and share with the public why there's no place like 7 Homes. What makes 7 Homes different? Not only do we place children in families, but then we are an extension of those families, I feel like. And so we want people to just come and join us, and we're going to have food and live big band music, and come and get to know our families. They're going to be there, and we want you all to meet them and learn more about our organization.
It's almost like 2 events in one. I know you guys were kind of brainstorming and wanted to do one thing and wanted to do another. It's like we just had to put it together and have just one big day. And I love this. It's going to be an outside event plus a fundraiser tied in.
It is. So it's a carnival type event outside for obviously for the children and their families to enjoy.
And the young at heart. Yeah.
Yes, anyone. If you're in for the bounce house, then you are more than welcome to join in. But we're going to have a ropes course. Canterbury School is providing a ropes course for us. Lots of course, Wizard of Oz themed activities, photo booth. We may or may not have an appearance from Dorothy and Toto. But we did. We wanted to celebrate 20 years with our families and our staff and our board members. And we wanted to share that with the public. And we merged the two together and thought, what better way for people to come and find out about 7 Homes than to meet the people who make up 7 Homes. So we are looking forward to having a great time, and we hope that a lot of guests from the public will join us.
And it's cool. Now the kids and families have their fun early, and then it turns the corner to more of the fundraising and dinner, I guess, after that, right?
Yes. So the families will be there a little bit earlier, but we're hoping for a bit of an overlap. So we're inviting the guests from the public to join in around 4:30 to come in and just mingle and take a look at what our families are doing and visit. We're going to have a historical timeline sort of spread throughout the inside of Berry Hall, the beautiful reception hall at Canterbury. And dinner will be served at 5. And then we're going to have a fundraising program, but which is not our main focus. Obviously we do need funds to make our organization work, but this being just a major celebration for us, we want to share more about our organization and hope that people who are interested in foster care and adoption will come out to learn more about Seven Homes.
Great stuff. A great time to get aware of what you guys do right here in the community, because it really is a community thing. It builds community in more than one ways with the kids and the families, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I think that this event will really tie it all together, but when you see everyone interacting, it's not only a family with the staff from Seven Homes, but the families, we do things together with all of our families. So we have events for them. We just had an Easter egg hunt, and there's a beach trip involved. And it's just really creating that sense of community and support and extended family for our foster children, for their families.
When a foster family and an adopted family comes to Seven Homes, our goal is that they become part of our family. We become part of their family, embrace their children, their birth children, as our children. And so we do feel like the agency as a whole is a community within the community, serving the community. We care passionately about not only our families and the kids that we place in our families. We feel passionately about our birth families too, the parents that these children are coming from. So we are very inclusive of all of them, because we're trying to solve issues that have caused kids pain, whether it's emotional or physical, and try to restore that family or create a new family. And that's our goal, and that's what we're trying to do. And this is a celebration of 20 years of actually, I think, being very successful at doing just that. We have a lot of success stories in not only reunification and helping families reunify, but also in terms of adopting and helping families create new families, and children finding their forever family, and just the combination between the two. I was at a birthday party yesterday of a child that was adopted 2 years ago, and at that birthday party, and this child's now 11, at that birthday party was the child, the adopted family, that child's birth grandparents, and that child's parents. And they celebrated together a birthday for an 11-year-old. And that's part of this new face of adoption out of foster care as well, is that community connection that not only we have with the families have, but even if it's possible that the birth families can celebrate still, even though they no longer have their children.
If you're looking to maybe provide a home for a child, either by way of foster care or adoption, here's an opportunity for you. It's the door's wide open. You can find out more about Seven Homes right on our website, WBFJ.FM. There's a big icon right there on our new and improved website, WBFJ.FM. Again, you guys are on Facebook. You got a great website, tons of information, ways to get plugged in. And of course, carve out some time, come to the carnival, get more awareness, and find out more about Seven Homes. It's their big event, no place like Seven Homes, happening this coming Saturday afternoon. Again, all the information on our website, WBFJ.FM.